My name is Benjamin Johnston, and you are?
Erin Stetzer.
And we are so excited. Erin Stetzer was the builder of my personal home, and this is a home that I said I was literally going to go out feet first from this home, and we're delighted to be able to share with you some of the lessons that we learned, some of the challenges that we faced, and how we overcame and rose to the occasion on all of it. So we're excited to share.
Yes, and from the builder perspective, the creative adventures, the trust in Ben and his team.
It takes a team.
It does take a team, and it takes a lot of trust. We learned so much about architecture and design, and really, it was just a really fun ride for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And hopefully you'll enjoy this kind of ongoing series where we break the house down into various components and various lessons learned. So we look forward to sharing it with you.
A lot of lessons I learned.
So Erin, it was really fascinating for me because when we completed this home, you shared with us that out of the 500 plus homes that you have constructed in your career, you felt like this was one of the most complicated homes that you've ever built. What did you mean by that?
Look at it. This was a beast, an amazing beast. So what's really fun about this project, one, as the builder, I really love you and Erich. And so there is this emotional component, truly, that every little decision, every micro moment really means something to someone. So to me, that's like a heavy thing. Because it means so much, that's why we're sitting in this beautiful home. So the emotional part, I would say the complexity of the architecture, which again, when you look around even just this room, every single moment, again, is very intentional.
Right.
Every millimeter is intentional. So knowing that, aligning all of the doers
to make that happen is complex, and it's a process. And I really want to nail it the first time because I know that when you and Erich show up on the weekend or that day, because you live very close, there will be times we may not have nailed it exactly. Mm-hmm. And so the ability to talk to each other about it, which we had lots of very, very deep, great conversations on how we're going to go from here to there, and hey, I need your help. I really need your help. Yeah. And so to me, that's why this project is everything and was everything. So as far as the mental and emotional part, that's part one. But part two is, like we were talking with Erich, it's not a 20,000 square foot sprawling home where you can position the doers in different areas. It's 4,700 square feet. Right. So some people in trades were working right on top of one another.
Right on top of each other, which there are some risks, and there's a time frame, right? Everyone has time frames, everyone has budgets.
Right.
And so it was everything was really, really intense and intentional for all great reasons.
And it was honestly we chose the worst time to build ever. We built during the pandemic when all material costs skyrocketed and there were delays in terms of just getting your hands on raw materials and on windows and appliances. And, if anything was complicated before, it became more complicated.
10 times.
Yes, totally. It was interesting too, because there was such a delay in us getting our windows.
Yes.
That meant that we couldn't dry in our house in a timely fashion. And that meant that we had to work around missing windows and try to figure out brick on the exterior. Anything that was complicated just on paper, if all of it was smooth sailing, became 10 times more complicated.
Right, and you bring up a great point that many homes have conditions. These happen to be pretty extreme. We were working in the dirt and we pulled out a bathtub. out of the ground. Literally a cast iron bathtub. Right? So like you have to reroute. We hit, when we were drilling piers, we hit some major concrete. And you cannot predict these things. But thankfully, Erich, Ben, and I set up the intention that from the beginning, like, this is a superstar home. We're going to get there, and we need each other to do that. And so I will say you and Erich went above and beyond of really like, I need to be able to share news with you and you as professionals. I remember Ben said to me, he's like, listen, I'm a big boy, give it to me. I was like, okay, here we go.
Here we go, strap in.
But you set the tone like, it's okay, it's safe. Just let us know what's going on because, you're running the architecture, you're running the design. You need to have an advocate bring problems up to you.
Well, and I think a lot of times, I think that people are scared to give bad news. But truthfully, what I think is even scarier is when people are operating out of ignorance and they don't know what the implications are. They don't know what the costs are. They don't know how it's going to affect timelines or budgets or anything, or how it's going to affect their overall satisfaction with the project. So, I think information, I always say information is power and it allows you to make informed decisions. And I think that that's something that we were able to navigate those tricky situations because of radical honesty and radical straightforwardness in the communication process. And that's something that as an architect and designer, working with a contractor and home builder, that we have to make sure that we're operating with knowing the full picture on everything. And I think that's what led to the incredible way that this home turned out. And I'm just so thankful that you trusted us to be able to respond accordingly.
Well, your team, not only are you and Erich exceptional, your team is deep and they're exceptional.
Yeah.
So part of the challenges in this home, it's a difficult home to build because there's a relationship in every room with each other, but they're not direct relationships.
Correct.
So to unpack all of that, we needed to work together. You can look at the trim around the house or the ceiling moldings. And so we might start off with one set of drawings, but then we have a meeting and whether it be you or someone on your team, you would say, okay, I got this. Let's look at the mock-up and hey, I want to tweak things a little bit.
Yeah.
And just the ability to have that support on the spot so that when we execute, it's spot on.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
Right, and so we met once a week, and we reviewed.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more. Sometimes on Saturdays. So I would stalk them. I'd be like, "You guys, can you meet today? It's Saturday."
Oh, that's true. I remember many times you were like, "I'm having a coffee in your house. Do you want to come down? Do you want to come chat with me?" So, that was really wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate the explanation on what made this one of the most complicated homes. And I, again, want to thank you for your grace and your the masterful way that you really ran this project in order to make sure that we got it, across the finish line and with flying colors. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.